All right, so I've never seen anything like this. Just rolled up here to the ramp here on Lake O, getting ready to go on a speck fishing trip with one of the most legendary guys that fishes this lake, so I'm told. And there are frigging bass boats everywhere. It looks like a tournament. I mean, look around me. Insane. And we got heavy fog, but I can't wait. I feel like it's Christmas Eve, man. I've never done this before, so I'm so pumped. All right, so here we are, Lakeport, Florida. Man, I'm so excited I can't even contain myself. I've never done this before, and so pumped to get the invite. I got a group of 3 great guys to my right. So this is my buddy Tommy Rogers. I went to college with this cat. He was my fraternity brother. We won't talk about all those stories here and the interest of his wife and my wife back in the college days. Behind him, I got Marsad Quraishi, who is one of the most legendary rod builders around. What is it, Fiasco Rods, Marsad? He also happens to be an attorney, much like Tommy. And then this guy, meet John Dunlap, born and raised in West by God, Virginia. Country road, take me home, where all my family's from. And John, I am just so grateful that I get to spend this day with you on this boat. This guy, so I'm told by Tommy, there's no better on Lake O at finding speck and catching speck. So enjoy this ride. We're gonna have some fun. And Mr. Dunlap is gonna teach you guys. How many years of experience you got on this lake doing this?
Over 50 some years.
50 some years. And we're gonna pack as much of that knowledge into this video here on the Fish Blue Water channel. Stay tuned. We'll see you at the speck hole. All right, JD. So this is gonna be question number 1 of maybe 1,000 that I will ask today. So just, bear with me.
Yes, sir.
So we're cruising along here, which, by the way, my butt was puckered tighter than you can imagine. Couldn't see anything. Tommy's running around. We've got, fortunately, he's a smart guy. He's got Simrad electronics on the boat, which I noticed right off the bat. He was using that for navigational purposes, but JD just kept saying, when you see this little clump of uh-oh.
Son of a... Thought I was on the board there for a minute. These things are just getting thicker and thicker and thicker out here.
All right, so back to your original scheduled program. So JD, as I'm staring at the machine, like hoping that we know where the heck we're going, he's talking about lily pads and cattails and lefts and right. This guy never took a look at that machine one time. And I guess that's what 60 years on the lake will do for you. Now, JD, I heard you say that this spot looked great.
Yes, sir.
They all look the same to me. So what is it? So what is it about a spot like this where we've stopped? What did you see, that made you say, hey, this is a spot we want to fish?
When you look at an area right here like this, they have sprayed it, and it's got a lot of vegetation that's dying off on it. The specks, they've got to have something to lay their eggs on. They don't build a bed like a bass does.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll swim along vegetation and throw the roe, and the male comes back behind them and fertilizes them. So that's what you want to look for, is an area like this.
It's been sprayed? Okay.
Well, it don't have to be sprayed. It's just something that's got vegetation in it. And then once you find that area right there, that's the biggest part of it right there. And then you just start jigging until you find the fish. And if we're not here, we'll just go to another place and look same way, and eventually you're gonna end up finding them.
I have no doubt. So right now, I'm just trying to be an observer. I don't know the first thing about what's going on. I'm gonna try and do my best to learn. So right now, I am just a fly on the wall, watching these guys do what they do, trying to pick up a little bit on their techniques, jigging style. We'll talk about all that stuff in the video. Look at that, here we go. The man is on. The legend himself.
He bit me the first time, and I missed him, but he came back and he hit it. Now that's nice. That's an Okeechobee Speckled Perch.
Now, I got another question for you. So I've heard them called specks. I've heard them called, is it crappie?
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why, like the two different names, or?
No, these are the black nose. We have a black nose here on Okeechobee. And if you look at the proclamation book, it's called crappie, speckled perch.
Okay.
But down south, they all call them speckled perch.
Now, is that an undersized perch?
No, that's a nice one.
Okay.
That's a nice one right there. He hit me right there. I get in an area right here like this, and I just start swimming it. And I jerk it sideways and let it fall down. And 9 out of 10 times he'll hit along the fall, and I got right there and he hit it, and he missed it. But then I came back and he hit it again. A lot of times they'll come back, and then other times they won't come back. Got another one. I had to come over here and keep Tommy honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I noticed you put me up here next to John.
Tommy, do you check your ego at the door when you fish next to him?
You better.
Now that's close to 10-incher. I'd say probably 9 3/4 something. That's not a keeper.
What's keeper size, JD?
10 inches.
That was a 10-inch fish all day. JD just doesn't. He doesn't. He wants to hear from you. Yeah, he doesn't do average fish.
Every now and then I've got to come over there and just keep them honest. I know they pass. Look at here, missed him right there.
So that's a male. It's darker, dark green, blackish. That's a male.
Okay.
And the two that John caught were both females.
See that, and that green, really pretty. Comes down right underneath the black on the top of the back.
Marsad, if he's legal, we'll throw him in the well.
Yeah, I'd rather eat the males. The smaller one or the bigger one?
Smaller one.
All right.
Talk to me about, so what should I expect to feel when I get a bite, and what should I do if I do get a bite?
When you're using these long jig poles, I hold the line right here in my finger, right here like this. I let it grip right here on my finger. And then when I grip the rod right there like this, the line is right there. And then when that fish hits it, you feel that on the tip of your finger right there. And I mean, it's just distinctive. There's no way in the world you can miss that bite.
Gotcha.
I can see how people get hung up on drugs because the speck fishing is a drug. When you feel that thump right there, you just want to feel it again. And again, and again.
So that's a small one. It's legal, but on the smaller side. That's right at 9, 10 inches. It's probably legal, but we'll let them go. So that's a female. You see it's more white? That's a female. As they get bigger, it's more pronounced, but that's a little one. We'll let them go.
Different color?
It's more than that. It's that, John is swimming these jigs a little bit more than he's fishing them vertically. And when he's doing that, sometimes I'll go to a little bit lighter jig that falls more looks a little bit better when it falls instead of just falling straight down. It just kind of, it falls a little bit different. It doesn't fall real fast. It just kind of falls a little bit slower. And sometimes that'll make a difference. Because I was fishing, I didn't know where we were going to start off, so I had a little bit heavier jig on this morning. But a lot of times when we start fishing, I'll have one jig, Marsad will have a slightly different jig, and we'll try to kind of figure out, what the pattern is. And I can tell you that if that's how he's catching these fish, I want a lighter jig for sure.
Ready? So when you tap that jig down. Is it the jig?
Actually, that's a nice keeper, Tommy.
You want him?
You can pop it and I'll
Nice
roll it around
finish.
a couple of
Look at him, is it 10 inches?
He's 11.
11 inches? That's a good keeper. That's another rooster.
Can you take a look at it real quick? Just to get details of it?
The way their mouth, everything's situated like a tarpon.
So that's a male fish. He's real black.
If you drop too fast, you're going right past them. They never even saw it.
Bonafide there. That's a good
That's a
spec.
big female. See the white on the belly?
That's a pretty fish. You go, Tommy Rogers.
That's a good fish. So Marsad and I always joke that when you run into people, they all tell you that they've got a cooler full of 2-pound specks. That's what we always hear, is they got a cooler of 2-pound specks. So what do you think that fish weighs?
I've heard of
1.3?
3-pounders.
Yeah, 1.3. Let's see.
All these nighttime fishermen, they come out here and they claim that they're catching 2-pounders and 3-pounders. I've got a friend of mine, Earl Betts, he was born here in Lakeport.
Tip?
I'm gonna say 1.2, 1.5, 1.25, 1.3. Look at that. Pretty close.
And then got a little one, little rooster. The specks in the lake has got bigger. Years ago, there was no size limit on the speckled perch. And I don't know how many years ago it's been that they put a 10-inch limit, but that's really helped their specks out, that they've grown to reach maturity, and we're catching bigger specks right now than we used to 30, 40 years ago.
Slowly and then. Make sure you feel your line.
Get in there where you
Back in your line.
Mm-hmm.
Feel it. There he is. Boom.
Jamie!
Yeah, I'm on the board.
I got
He's
the
on the
assist.
board.
I got the assist.
Yeah, for sure. Marsad 1000% gets the assist on that because that was my hole before his. Clearly I didn't do it right. He gave me a little coaching up. And I caught my first speckled perch, y'all.
Felt him ticking on the way down.
Now,
right?
did you get to feel that thump?
I did. Very cool.
It's
I mean, it
distinctive, isn't
was very distinctive. I jigged it and I could feel the resistance. I'm like, that doesn't feel like anything else I've felt so far in my 1,000 jigs I've done so far this morning. There it is. Now that's an undersized fish, right?
No, that's legal.
Yeah.
That's legal?
That's legal
No,
all day.
he's over
It's
10.
11 inches.
Okay. Are we letting him go? Are we keeping him? What are we doing?
It's your first bet on Lake.
Once
Yeah,
we start
I might as
keeping
well-
fish, we're
I gotta
keeping
keep my
fish.
first one, right?
Yeah, he's
Now, Tommy,
Yes, sir.
I think I'm not hunting that big speckled perch. I know what you got in that. I know what you got in that well. I got my eyes on you, T-Gun.
I promise you that one will not hold up today.
Now, the environmental man told me, Dan, he's retired now, and he spent 41 years, and I've known him from the time he was working on this lake. Our specks only grow 3 inches a year.
Really?
So we're catching a 3.5 to 4-year-old speck right now to be 10 inches.
Wow.
Good job.
Look at
towards
that,
me.
right out there in the open water.
If you try to
Hey.
look your rod tip, it won't work.
That man's catching on how to, look at here, look at here,
Good job.
look at here.
Hey, double
Yeah.
up.
Ah,
Jamie, was that open water?
yes, it was.
Good job. They're starting.
Got a little one. He's close, but
He barely makes it, but I don't know that he's worth getting a fillet off of.
at the top of that jig, see where he's got the silver wrap right there?
Uh-huh.
That's where the S is.
Okay.
And that's just a blue jig with a white head.
These are
And
pretty
it's-
similar, Tommy, to like yellowtail jigs with just a little bit of hair on them.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so if you agree, comment down below.
That's a good one.
That's a good fish. See how that's a white fish?
Yeah.
And if you hold it, you'll see it probably has eggs in it.
Yeah.
got
It
roe.
spawned out.
Yeah.
So this would be a fat fish, but she's laid her eggs. See how it's thin right there? Look at it.
She's been doing the dirty.
See the tail's all beat up? She's been laid her eggs. Spawns out. It's a thick fish, but the belly's thin, so she's spawned out. That's a good solid keeper. Yeah, see how it's white? That's a female. That's a lake fish.
That's a good one right there. He hit it on the fall. Yeah, that one probably.
1, 2.
What do you say, Tommy? 1, 2, 1, 3.
Yeah, he's gonna push that other one pretty good. I think he might edge it out a little bit.
One, 2, 1.
1, 2, 1.
So it's a big body, but it's a male fish, so it's not going to have eggs. But that's a big-bodied fish. It's just not going to be as heavy as the females, because
I said I was going to weigh 1, 2. I mean, I just dropped it down right there and hit it on the fall.
All right, JD, let's give our viewers a 10:30 update. So cameraman tells me we got about 15 or so in the boat. I've been watching you catch a bunch. I caught a few. I'm happy with my progress so far. So what's your report on the day so far as the conditions and what we got going
Well,
on?
for the fog and everything, the fishing been tough this morning. It's going to pick up. If this fog would lift, I know these fish are right here.
Yeah, we've seen them flipping all over the place.
We've seen them. They're feeding everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But with this fog and everything, we just got to wait. We're nowhere. These fish aren't going nowhere. Jamie,
So,
they're going to be right here.
I'll tell you guys off camera. He was talking and he was telling Tommy, he's like, you gotta slide around the point here. We can't let these guys jump us. And if you've seen any of our other videos, or for some of the guys that are watching that are familiar with sail fishing, I felt like we were talking about not letting a boat in a sailfish tournament get on the north side of you. Because now when you're sail fishing
right.
on our coast, these fish typically tail from north to south, or they'll
Right.
travel from north to south.
Right.
So a lot of times when guys get bites, the other boat will try to jump them to the north, to get out in front of them for the
Right.
next pack of fish that may come through.
Right.
So it's a constant hopscotch game of
That's-
trying to get in
that's-
front of the other boat.
That's it.
And it's no different here on Lake Okeechobee, apparently.
You a knucklehead?
some of the bycatch, yeah. It's a good sized bluegill.
Was that common bycatch when you're doing this?
Yes.
Yeah, it's some Mayan cichlids, catfish. That's a good sized bluegill.
That's a good fish. That one might push mine. No?
See how bright and white that fish is? That's a female lake fish.
That is a real lake
That's
fish.
bright white. So look how fat this one is compared to the other one. So she hasn't laid her eggs in. See that right there?
Is that worthy of a scale check?
Nah. It's a fat fish, but it's not bigger than the other one.
No, no.
But that fish hasn't spawned yet.
I don't know
She's
about
bright
that. I
white
didn't
coming off
see
the
it.
lake.
I heard it when
Hasn't
it come
spawned
out of
yet.
the water. What is big fish on the scale? I don't even know.
128.
Huh?
There's one.
He got a little one out of it.
That's nowhere near the size of the one
No.
that you and I both lost.
All right, well,
Get the trolling motor.
Captain
Put the collar
says
down.
we're making a move. They've picked away at a decent number of fish on this little head here that we've been fishing all morning. But how many we caught, roughly?
We'll take a video. Yeah, I think we've probably released as many as we've kept.
Where are we headed to right now?
Towards Indian Prairie.
Indian Prairie.
Northeast on the lake.
So we're headed to Indian Prairie. We're gonna get set back up, see if we can get back on another batch of fish.